as hot as it needs to be. Ooh, it's kind of hot. Let's see. Pretty good. Okay, pretty good. Hey everyone, today's video is about the Airwrap dupe versus the real thing. Now the dupe is $50 on AliExpress, whereas the real thing is retailing for about $500 on Amazon. So it's 10 times as expensive. Now, if you're like me and you're doing your research before buying any type of beauty product or any type of big purchase, then I hope this video works for you, because this is the kind of thing that I wanted to see when I was deciding whether or not to just stick with the dupe or get the real thing. Like, does the dupe really hold up? Let's find out. I am going to be doing this side of my hair with the dupe and this side of my hair with the Dyson Airwrap. I also have a little bit of water here because apparently the Kawanda effect is much more pronounced when your hair is moist. So let me just split my hair down the middle so that I have equal parts to work with. This side will be for the dupe. We're gonna start with the dupe. It just comes with the actual hair dryer, and it comes with a variety of different attachments. But the attachment I'm going to be using is the one that curls your hair without the traditional iron. I want to use the arrow going away from my face. Yes, which is this one. Okay, so it comes with 3 settings, but the truth is it's a little janky. It doesn't actually go with all 3 settings. One thing I noticed is when you go to 1, it's the same amount of air, but it is not as hot. And then as you go to 2 and 3, there's no difference. It gets pretty hot. Pretty good. All right, so for this one, I basically just let it get as hot as it needs to be. Ooh, it's kind of hot. And then I basically turn it off. Let's see. Pretty good. Okay, pretty good. All right, so let's try like a medium section of hair. See, it doesn't really pull up very large sections. It works well for really, really small sections. All right. See how that goes. Okay, pretty decent. So let's take a piece like this. And by the way, my hair is completely dry. So it doesn't pick up the entire section. I really have to feed it either really, really small sections or just let it pick up whatever it will. And the force of this air dryer is actually pretty strong. I'm gonna bring it down to 1. It sounds the same, but it's actually cooler air. Still warm though, so I don't know how much it really sets your curl. All right, so as you can see, in these 3 pieces, it works. It really works. That being said, it will take me forever to do the rest of my hair. It also doesn't pick up the hair very effectively. It's almost like the air coming out is going in so many different directions that it doesn't really pick up my hair. Okay, I'm not doing a good job of sectioning my hair, but let's see what it picks up if I just wanted to put it in my hair. See, it doesn't really pick up hair super effectively. You have to really feed it tiny increments of sections. Okay, but see these pieces that were not curled? All right, so now let's try it by wetting my hair. Okay, I'm gonna brush it out. Let's give it a shot. It doesn't seem to want to take any bigger sections. Go! Go! Okay, now it's all in. I wonder if my hair had to evaporate from the moisture first before the rest of it was light enough to get sucked into the Kawanda effect. All right, let's see. Okay. I'd say it's actually about the same as without my hair being wet, to be totally honest. Because these were completely dry and this one was wet. So I don't see a huge difference there. Yeah, see, it really only pulls such a small amount of hair. Okay, yeah, it'll take me forever to do this side. Got pulled right in. All right, so I'd say that took about 5 minutes just to do this front half of my head. All right, so now let's actually do the Airwrap Dyson, the authentic one from Dyson. So right off the bat, this feels a lot more quality. It's slightly heavier. It just feels better built. I mean, it better be, it's 10 times as expensive. The dupe feels a little more on the hollow side. This is the Dyson attachment. This is the other one that I was using. All right. Okay. Try this. Oh, wow. That was pretty easy. The first thing I'm noticing is that it just picks up a much larger section of hair. Let's section this properly so that we can really see it. So right away I can kind of tell it's not as hot as the dupe. It feels a little bit more gentler, and the air is much more directional. The device is much better at moving air in one way, whereas the dupe, it was kind of all over the place. Okay. However, I feel like the curls aren't lasting as long as the dupe. It might just be because it's not as hot. I'm blasting it with cold air to set it. Ooh. Now I keep brushing it out, which is why it's not as curled here. Ooh, all right. It's working. Blasting it with cold air to set it. These ends don't seem to want to go in. Maybe I've grabbed too large a piece of hair. Okay, and then last piece here. I didn't even blast that with cold air. I just went for it. Hot, off. Okay. This is the dupe, and this is the Dyson. Now I'm going to grab a section of hair just so you can see what it would look like with the Dyson side wet a little bit. Let's see if it makes a difference. Okay, so there's that, and then there's okay. So I really do think that having a little bit of moisture does make a difference. This curl seems to be a lot tighter because it was wet. Here we have it. My overall verdict is that the dupe does the trick. It just takes a lot longer because it only uses very small amounts of hair because the suction is not as directional. It works great as a hair dryer because it's so powerful and it gets really, really hot. I really think it's not so much because of the design of the attachment, it's more so like the heat of what you get with a cheap dupe. That's what I think really set my hair. As for this side, there's a lot more personalization with how you use the Dyson because it has so many different settings. The directionality of the wind that comes out does make a really big difference, and I think that you can grab slightly larger sections of hair with the Dyson. So now that both sides have been preliminarily curled, you can really see how they both work when I recurl some sections. So here is the Dyson side. I'll take a pre-curled section. Very neat, very simple, kind of works perfectly. On the side that I did the dupe with, I'm gonna grab a similar size section of hair. Only a little bit gets pulled out. Great. So the verdict really is the Dyson will save you a lot more time. The dupe works if you don't have that much hair. Overall, I would say the Dyson is still the superior product. This is a dupe in the sense that it is designed to do a very similar thing. Hot air comes out and you can kind of use it to curl your hair. It does what it says it does, but this one works way better. A reason to get the real Dyson, in addition to it being just the original product, the inventor, is that when you turn off the buttons, it actually like vibrates ever so slightly to kind of tell you like, ah, I hear you, I'm gonna turn off now. So it's all of the little design elements that to me make it a much more high-end experience, not to mention the fact that it'll just save you so much more time if you were to use this rather than the dupe. That being said, the dupe is so much cheaper, and I'm sure you have $450 that you can spend on a lot of other things, right? If you are in the market for a dupe, be careful where you buy it from. There are some sellers on Poshmark that are selling what is really a $50 device on AliExpress for over 3 times the markup. So be a savvy shopper and get it for the lowest price possible. The Dyson does come with a bunch of other attachments. I really don't necessarily use those attachments as much. So I wanted to show you what was in the Dyson Airwrap Complete versus the dupe. Now, it's pretty much like a one-to-one mapping. So if it's in the Dyson Complete, it's in the dupe. Here's the attachment for the hair dryer, and the counterpart here is pretty much the same exact thing. It's just honestly more shoddily made. Definitely feels a little less quality. You can tell what the manufacturers were going for. It's pretty obvious that they were replicating everything in here. I did try the hair dryer for the dupe, and it works fine. I think it's a little more powerful on the Dyson, but for this one, it's good enough. You have the actual round brush. This one isn't as big as this one, as you can tell. I can't say that I've used this because I didn't buy the dupe with any of these attachments in mind. I was really only interested in this. And same thing for the plastic brush. So that is this. It's pretty much the exact same thing. But the most interesting is this, which is this. There's a bit of a tapering that happens here that you don't see with this. This one is exactly straight, and you can also see the lines are literally 90 degrees perpendicular to the base, whereas with the Dyson, it's slanted a little bit. And I think that this design does make a difference. It picks up more hair and it sends the air more directionally. Whereas with this one, the air just sort of goes in multiple directions and it picks up whatever small pieces of hair happen to get swept up in that gust. The base is also a little thinner on this one than on this one. The arrows are also a lot easier to see. On the real Dyson, you can see there are way more options. This controls the fan strength, the temperature, and this is the on and off button. Whereas for the dupe, it literally goes from 0 to 3. You just have to ignore the 1 and the 2. Well, technically the force is the same for all 3, but the 1 is not as hot. And then the 3 is pretty darn hot. It gets pretty steamy, so don't get this too close to your scalp. Trust me, you will yelp. It will hurt. But this is actually pretty normal for a lot of sort of Chinese knockoff products, is they will put scales like this and then say that they have the adjustments, but then when you actually use them, it goes from 0 to 100. There's no in between. And so that's similar with this product. Dyson's a lot thinner. It feels more slippery. It feels pretty good. This one definitely feels more like sort of a cheap knockoff. The cord for the dupe is also not as long. The cord for the Dyson is wrapped in a type of rubber that makes it feel like it's gonna last a lot longer. If this was helpful to you, please leave a comment and subscribe for future videos. See you there. Bye.